GT Holidays, South India's #1 travel brand.
GUVI, a vernacular edutech brand, skilling everyone everywhere.
Hello, Mrunal.
Hi.
How are you?
Wonderful. So happy to be having you in front of me.
Oh, likewise, and welcome to Galata Plus. And I was just talking to some people around here. We're in Dilraju sir's office.
Yes.
And you have an association with him.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
It's my second film with him.
With him, yeah. So I was asking people, so who's the #1 heroine in Telugu cinema? And they said, I think the person you're going to interview.
Oh, really?
Yeah, how does that feel?
I don't know, yeah. It's just chup chap. I come, I do my job, and I'm
Right.
#1. तो मैं बचपन पैदा हुई तब से हूँ because I'm born on #1, August 1st.
Okay.
So
God, that sounds like a punchline.
yeah, right. I didn't prepare this, by the way. It just came naturally to me.
Yeah.
But when people say, "Oh, you're #1," I just want to contribute towards like a good cinema and offer audience something that they've never seen before.
Right. But you've had this very strange journey, if I may say so, because normally what happens is, we have in the South people who begin their careers, heroines who begin their careers here because, modeling pageant winners or they've done whatever it is and they start here. And then the dream is to go to, Hindi cinema. You've had a slightly reverse trajectory. It's like you worked with Hrithik, you worked with Shahid, you worked with Karan Johar, you worked with Rakesh Mehra. All that stuff happened, and then you, of course, before that there were TV serials, Marathi films, and then you come do one film called Sitaram, and that pretty much establishes all that you've been working for all these years.
Yeah.
That's like very...
you missed a very integral part of my life, which was Love Sonia.
Love Sonia, yeah, the international.
So
yeah.
It's like starting international, doing Hindi, then Telugu, Marathi. I never thought that I would have a parallel career in the South, in the TFI. But when, Sitaramam took 2 years. Mm-hmm. And before Sitaramam even came to me, when I heard, there were a couple of Telugu films also that was offered to me in the year 2012, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
But I only made the debut in 2018. But उस वक्त तो लालच था, हीरो है, पैसे मिलेंगे. But then I was not really kicked about the role. Like I said, today I only slept for 2 hours, 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. And I was so excited to be in Hyderabad. So that 2 hours of sleep doesn't matter. I still look fresh because it's that adrenaline, that rush that it gives you. So similarly, I feel like a character or a storyline or the screenplay is extremely important, and it plays a crucial part in any actor's life or journey.
Right.
Like, had I not done Sitaramam, I wouldn't get Hi Nana. Neither would I get a role in such a big budget movie called Family Star.
Yeah.
So everything is intertwined, interrelated, and just taking one step at a time, want to be a part of films which people can enjoy or learn something.
Just take me through the story of like how exactly Sitaramam came your way.
The credit goes to Love Sonia.
Okay.
Because I remember I was filming for Super 30 when Love Sonia was supposed to be screened and was the opening film of this festival in Melbourne. So Melbourne Indian Film Festival opening is happening, and for me it was a huge deal because festivals mein film jana itself is a big deal.
Big deal, yeah.
I remember I took 2 days of holiday from Super 30 shoot. It was very tough, and I had to like literally beg and plead and literally cry. And I made it. I sat into the flight. I got there. I was jet lagged, and for those 4-5 hours, I made it work. I landed, I attended the screening, and I took a flight back to Mumbai. And I had to go to Sambar at that point of time. But in those 4-5 hours, what was the most magical thing that happened was I encountered this director. His name is Nagi sir, and his film Mahanati was the second film to be screening, which I missed it. So, and I had heard great things about the movie, Mahanati, and it's a biopic. Also, Kirti was a part of it. So I was really looking forward, and somehow I managed to watch the movie after I came back. And it so happened that Nagi sir reached out to me while I was almost about to reach out to him and congratulate it. So it happened vice versa. So 2 years later, I get a call from Vaijayanti Films, and me being, I have a little bit of this habit of doing my research and homework. That's when I found out that it's the same production house who made Mahanati. So I was really excited. After, when I was filming that library scene, not library scene, that scene where I draw the carpet and Ram Garu is trying to click my picture. That's when I met Nagi sir again, and he said, they were supposed to cast you for another film, but Sitaram was happening. At that time, it was called Lieutenant Ram. And he recommended my name to Hanu sir and Swapna Garu, and Super 30 had just released. And they were looking for this girl who's Indian, she's got like calmness on her face, and somebody who is firm especially should be able to carry that era. And later I discovered that Hanu sir actually reached out to me for Afreen's part.
Wow.
But then when he saw, he's like, I found my Sita. That's how it happened.
So strange, right?
So I'm forever grateful to Nagi sir for introducing me to Vaijayanti Films, and because of which I'm a part of Sitaramam.
Right. Now, when you are Googling up, you're excited and all that kind of stuff, is one part of you saying, I'm going to have to do a film in a language I'm not familiar with? What were the apprehensions about that?
I didn't want to be in a space where I feel like handicapped, because, when you don't know the language, you do feel restless. And I kid you not, I did have moments where I wanted to give up. And I would just cry. I was like, and I've literally cried. But वो कहते हैं ना कि एक आंसू के इतने प्यारे प्यारे तारीफें आई हैं मुझे. So I think it's all worth it. Earlier I felt like what was more important was the story. Language was manageable, but I think if you do not know the language, it gets a bit tough. And since childhood, I wanted to be a princess. So I think this was the best opportunity, or my preparation not just started or began for those 9 months or 2 years. It started bachpan se.
Right. So how do you prepare for, let's take Family Star. You get a narration, you like the script.
Yes.
Are you a script reader or a narration listener?
Both, actually, because what happens is I like to read first because I want to understand it from my perspective. Right. And what is even interesting is when the director narrates me the story and then you look at it as a bird's point of view.
Yeah.
And I go back home thinking, oh my God, ye to maine socha hi nahi. This I didn't think about. Yeah. I really enjoy that process because certain times what happens is, jo reading mein, I have recently discovered reading because you have this imagination.
Yeah.
Like hi nana mein wo kaise bachchi imagine karti, because that's how I was brought up. That's how I grew. So reading and the narration is very important. Having the screenplay in mind thoroughly, the chapters, it should be like a Bible. And if you have those shades or that journey absolutely sorted in your head, then it becomes clearer for you to play the part. It's not always getting into the hair and makeup. If you are drunk, smudge your eyeliner or kajal. It is very outside. Internally, how much do you own it? How much do you feel it? My process is like when I get a script, I have to fill in the blanks.
Right.
Ki, what was her childhood like? How did she start? Why is she the way she is? Okay. What made her take this step? And this is the point the film begins. Right. And I also have what she would have done after. So I always have this before and after. If a character doesn't have a name, like second name or last name, usually it's the first name and the last name. I would also have a middle name. I would also have my favorites. I would have not as Mrunal, as Sita. Like, what would she do? What is her relationship with Ram? What is her relationship with her brother, the Vadina, you know? And what is it that they think about me, which I don't know?
Yeah.
Because these are the characteristics which I can add it in the before and after.
Right.
And because I loved doing like reading tarot and all of that, and sun sign, moon sign, so I like assigning signs to every character because everybody is different. If you see, Indu is absolutely different from Yashna, and Yashna is absolutely different from Sita. The only common thing that you will see is they're liberal.
Right.
They are empowered. Yeah, you know, it's sometimes they are.
What? Just sorry to interrupt, but what sun sign is Hindu?
Scorpio.
That's the family star
Yes.
character. Okay.
Yes.
I'll keep that in mind while watching the movie.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
please continue.
Yeah. So all these things I learned from my co-actors. You know, I'm just revealing a secret. Sorry, Ritik, but he would use fragrance because smell is instantly that takes you in that zone. Like for example, mitti ki khushboo. When the first rain happens, it suddenly reminds you of your nana nani, your bama, your tataya or something like that. This is about smell. So some actors have that process, but for me, I think music also plays an integral part. It's very crucial. During the shoot of Sitaramam, I have only and only heard Shah Rukh Khan sir's songs or A.R. Rahman songs, and every scene had a dedicated piece.
Okay.
Yeah, because sometimes what happens, there's so much chaos all around you, there's so many voices. All you do is just pick up your AirPods, put it in, play the music. It's like instantly you are in the zone.
Right. And what is the music you use for Family Star?
For Family Star, it was fun. Like Family Star, it was more like a timing. So Family Star is the only film in my entire career till today is where I am totally dependent on Parshuram sir. Because it's a timing thing. Acting for me, it's like lying in front of camera. But you have to lie in that timing.
Yeah.
And that is what Parshuram sir taught me.
Right.
Earlier, I had inhibitions. For the first 15 days, it was a nerve-wracking, horrible experience for me because I just wouldn't get the timing right.
Right.
I just didn't know who Indu was. That's because also the process here is quite different. You know, there were a lot of improvisations on set. So I didn't have that much time to spend on the character. But at the same time, it was a blessing in disguise because it was so instinctive that it would just come naturally.
Right.
Without even thinking. So, which is what I've learned in the Telugu movies is not necessary you have to be prepared. Because my schooling is such where you're so prepared, you're so polished, and in that you may end up losing your instantly jo reaction aata hai. Spontaneity, and you do not happen to be vulnerable.
Right.
You know, because in first take, when you don't know if someone is going to whack you and you don't know, your reaction is different as opposed to when you know that someone is going to whack you.
Right.
So I think that helped.
Right.
And I absolutely enjoyed it.
Right. But tell me, how do you write the lines in Devanagari? How do you...
It's a 3-language translation. Sometimes you don't even have time to do that.
Yeah.
Because, you know, suddenly the scene's written and the lights going and we don't have the location tomorrow. So earlier I would write the scene in Telugu, then I would translate it in English because English was the only common language between my ADs or Harshini who helped me on the script. And then I would translate it in either Hindi or Marathi because that's my mother tongue.
Yeah.
There were days where I felt like literally handicapped because I felt I looked like very underconfident. But Parshuram sir would make sure that he would explain me the timing of the dialogue. Like when rehearsal happens, I would just get it.
Right. Can you give me an example?
Like for example, there's an improv. Like I'm just walking and suddenly sir thought that I should say mental ka kurka. Mental na kurka. But I had never heard that. But only thing I know is mental. और मेरे दिमाग में in Hindi we always say पागल कहीं का. So because sir just prompted there from the monitor, I was like, mental na kurta. You know? So only I know how scared I am inside. But I'm sure like by take 2 or take 3 things would just get better.
Right, but was your expression the one that you would have used for Pagal Kahin Ka, or is this a different one?
It's the same. It's just that I need to know what it is.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So, look, for example, if I didn't know mental akurka means pagal kaika, and it just came like that, I wouldn't be able to
Process it. at all.
because for me, my lines are not important. For me, what the person opposite standing to me is saying is also
Yeah,
important
yeah.
because if I don't know what is he saying, how do I react?
Yeah, yeah.
So, mujhe Hindi, when I go back to Hindi films, they all scold me. They're like, stop it, this homework of yours. Like, Huma would say, like, ye to co-actors ki bhi line yaad karke aati. Like, how Hermione in Harry Potter would do it. She would learn Ron's line, Harry's line, everybody's line. So, in my head, that's how prepared I want to be. Otherwise, you feel like, I honestly feel like, I'm not ready. You know,
Right.
it's like that exam when you know you've gone through upper se, but you don't know the exact answers and that jittery vibes that you get. And I feel like it's my responsibility and it's only once in a lifetime opportunity I'm going to get to play Indu in that particular scene. I don't want to leave any tables unturned.
Right, but you just said that you don't want to over prepare because you want to be spontaneous.
Yeah.
But now,
I just need to know the meaning of the lines.
oh, the meaning of the lines.
Because it
Right.
is Telugu. If it is Hindi or if it is Marathi or English,
That's yeah.
we like even when I have workshops in Hindi, which I always insist, and it's really nice to do those workshops, not to prepare the dialogues, but to understand that if I will say, and if it is a romantic movie, if I say something, how is he going to react? Like if right now I'm looking only at the right eye ka corner, but he should be able to catch me also. What's the
Right.
point of me giving him that
Cue.
if there is no reciprocation?
Yeah.
So Hindi I'm sorted. Only in Telugu I just feel like because I don't know the language, I want to make sure that at least I know the points
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
of what I'm speaking.
Yeah. What is it that grabbed you about your character in Family Star? Because, you know, both in Sitaramam and in Hai Nana, one thing that's common to these things is that they are pretty strong. When I mean strong, I don't mean necessarily they're going to change the world or something like that, but they're very well defined
Yes.
characters.
Women of substance.
Women in substance, yeah. So, like, what is that something you look for? Because, like, let's say somebody just said, this is not a great role. It's just your standard heroine. You're just going to do running around trees. Would you just do it like, okay, let me just have some fun. Let me do that role.
Never.
You would not do that.
Never.
You
I
don't-
would have fun around the trees, but I also need some meat in it, you know,
Right.
some substance.
But
some...
once I'm saying, like, you do 3 like really big, heavy, meaty roles, that doesn't attract you at all.
It does, but you know, you need to strike a balance. Like whatever I'm saying may sound a bit contradictory, but even if I'm doing that, even if I'm, let's just put a definition saying it like a commercial heroine.
Right.
Because she needs to just not just look pretty, but you know, dancing and songs and all of that. But what is her role?
Yeah.
Who, what, where, how, when, you know, that those जो उस ज़माने में कुछ सीखा था. I feel like if you take away my character from the film, am I contributing to the film?
All right. That's a good way to look at it.
Then
yeah, yeah.
if my character is not taking the story ahead, then I think someone else would rather do it. I don't want to take away that deserving seat from that particular person. I would wait.
Yeah. yeah.
I would rather wait.
And what is it that grabbed you about
Family Star.
Yeah.
I want to be known as a versatile actress. And everybody is aware that there are a lot of film opportunities and offers happening. But I also want to do films which I resonate with. It's because for me, acting is not like a job. It's my life. Like my life revolves around these movies. And I've always dreamt of being a part of a film which would not just be called as a cult cinema, but at least move something within an individual and 20 years down the line, 50 years down the line, they should just say that my life changed because of Mrunal Thakur.
Lovely.
Like how my life changed because of Three Idiots. If I wouldn't have watched that movie, I would never follow my passion. I would have been a dentist today extracting somebody's tooth. And here I am acting.
That movie changed everything?
It changed everything for me. And not just for me, for my father as well, because like your parents just want you to be happy. And I don't think my parents did understand what it means for your kids to be happy, then to be settled. Aajkal ke parents, they believe that my child should be settled. There should be an income coming every month. But what they don't realize is if they're not happy, then it's like a no-brainer. If they're happy, they would just be a millionaire or billionaire. Stability aayegi, but just it's patience. All you got to do, and I'm just glad and fortunate to have my family around me during these times where I was making career choices. Dad was very clear. He said, Mrunal, you will just get one opportunity. If you're getting it, just do it. Because you can't 20 years down the line look back and say, I had an opportunity. I could have been a Madhubala, but I chose to be at home, So, and also since I said I'm number one, means Leo number one. They're always like feisty, they're go-getters, they're little stubborn, but somebody said you can't do it, and I was like, let me show you how I do it.
Right. So when you have, like you said that Three Idiots changed things, right? Now I saw a recent interview of yours where you said you don't want to talk about your struggles because who doesn't have struggles?
Yeah,
and I think that's a very positive way of looking at things. But you still had those struggles. Like, I just asked Sidhu this question. How did you tide over the dark phases? Was it self-belief? Was it like, what is it? Like, was it your family support?
See, family support, no doubt. It's so important.
Right.
It is extremely important. But I had realized, I almost signed up on something. I worked on it. Fortunately, the film didn't go on floor, and I realized it much earlier that this is not what I'm made for. Like if I'm signing something for 120 days, I need to be kicked about it. If I'm not excited, then I'm not just making it miserable for me, myself, but my producers,
right,
for my audience as well. So what I did, I just took that money and I gave it back to the producers, and I joined my hands and I said, sir, I apologize.
This was a Hindi thing?
This was, a Hindi thing, but I rather stayed at home for 2 years, and all I did was I was doing dishes, I was doing laundry, and I had my peace. So I was way more sorted. Also because it's so important for you to know what you want.
Right.
Instant fame, instant money, instant everything was all around me. Instant success. I could have just done a commercial film at the initial stage of my career and boom, I could have been the heroine. But would I get the films that I have in my kitty where everybody, everyone, all my contemporary, they meet me and they say, Mrunal, it's such a great role to have in your kitty. I don't think I would have it. So I'd also seen few friends of mine during television who got successful overnight, but when it didn't work, they fell also really hard on their, it was hard to get out of it. So success and failure, for me, it does exist, but it should not affect me as to who I am. It's like, your gravity, your core, your spine should always be aligned. So that was one of the best qualities, if I can say, upbringing. And I always pat on my shoulder because there were few films in Hindi which did great critically, but box office wise, it did not work for whatsoever reasons. But I'm not here to blame. It didn't work, it didn't work. What's next? Similarly, I'm just making sure that I take one day at a time because I'm here to enjoy. I don't want to be in a rat race.
But again, what was it that grabbed you about the family star role?
Family star role was after Sitaram and Hi Nana. I felt like I need to play my age, who I am. And Indu is pretty much, there are a lot of qualities about Indu that are in me as well. Not then, but now I can say I'm a bookworm. My vocabulary is getting better, and Indu is like always, she knows what is right, what is wrong. She's somebody who likes to do her research really well. Also, Indu is the Family Star was a film which would allow me to show my skills when it comes to comedy, dancing, glamour. Because in the first two films, it was just about human drama. It was about romance. So, मुझे कोई ऐसा उंगली करके ये नहीं बोलना चाहिए कि Mrunal is only meant for this stereotypical films. I want to do all sorts of movies because till I discover who I am,
Right.
I want to explore all the genres. I want to explore working with different directors because every filming process is different. And I was really looking forward to be working with this Geeta Govindam combination. I watched Geeta Govindam and I really liked it. And I thought that it had that flavor which is so unique.
Yeah.
It can just be created by a niche director. Like Yash ji would create one kind of cinema. Hanu sir creates one kind of, like, his film has so much detailing and it's a poetry. Similarly, with Parshuram sir, it's about the timing, it's about the roots, it's about the norms and principles that you follow. So I felt like it's important for me to be in the shade also.
Right.
Because whatever fourth film I do, I'll only get it based on the variety I bring on the table.
Right.
So I had not done dancing number, which we're doing like Kalyani Vacha Vacha full on. So I really enjoyed that.
Nice.
I really had so much fun.
Yeah. So you said that in Telugu cinema, at least, you kind of believe in knowing what your co-stars are also going to do. I want to know, as from your viewpoint as an actor, what are the things that your three co-stars bring to the table? What are their like USPs? Whether it's Dulquer, Nani, or now Vijay.
See, oh my God, and they all three are so talented, and they have their. So, for example, if you ask me about Dulquer, the strength, which is very internal. He's a God's child. And I'm not afraid to say that I'm literally the president of Dulquer Salman fan club, because that's how much I admire him and I respect him as an actor. Because on set, he's absolutely just like anyone else, but so dedicated and not afraid of the language. चाहे वो मलयालम हो, हिंदी हो, तेलुगु हो, तमिल हो, he would just do it. And one of the reasons, I remember I told him in Kashmir, I said, Sitaram is my first and the last film in Telugu. I will not do any Telugu film. He just looked at me, he's like, we'll see, Sita Garu. So I think one of the reasons why I'm considering today Tamil film or Kannada film as well is probably because of him. That's one great quality. He's also a Leo and he's a great leader. He will always guide people, go out of his comfort zone to make sure that people are not just comfortable, but they achieve their dreams, and he would actually surprise them that you're also capable of this. Aapko pata nahi tha, but this is what you can do. See, I told you.
Right.
With Nani Garu, he obviously, since he's known as the natural star, the best thing about Nani Garu is he's always open for improv, suggestions, and that's what makes the scene not just a scene but a slice of life. Like wo shirt nikal ke aise pinch karna, it was his idea. I was really happy earlier. I didn't buy ye kya hai, but he's like, believe me Yash, do it, it'll look really nice, and that became a thing. I was on the road and there's this boy on the bike, he just did that. I don't know, involuntary, I just did that. So it became a thing after Hi Nana released. And talking about Vijay,
The Vijay.
the family star, I guess.
No, the Vijay. He calls
The
him to
Vijay.
that now. The Vijay Deverakonda.
No.
Yeah. He
Really?
does. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, okay, the Vijay.
Yeah.
But for me, the Vijay is the Vijay Dinanachon.
Yeah.
That, see, it flickered. Something happened in
Yeah,
this
I know.
room. Vijay
Amitabh Bachchan's vibe happened. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, he's also obviously, like I said, language barrier. He would also jump in and he's like, no, no, Mrunal, what Parshuram sir is trying to say is this. And I was like, oh, thank you. And then we would. So he's also very focused, yeah. Like he had totally, because when I see him in the promotions and when I saw him on sets, they're two different identities. Because on set, he was like, I have to get Gordon right. Like he's worked really hard, and it shows also in the trailer, in the film.
Right.
And he's worked really, really hard. But somewhere down the line, I was very jealous of Vijay, because that tuning he had with Parshuram sir, और just look at him, and वो लोग आंखों ही आंखों में उनका bromance चलता था. I said, somebody please explain me also what we are doing. So he's got that mass hero, rowdy vibe, but here in this film, it's a different vibe altogether,
Right.
which I wish I was allowed to say it, but all three co-stars of mine have brought such different flavors as an actor, which I am going to hold on to it and use it in my fourth film.
Nice, nice. Now, Mrunal, you love travel.
Love it.
Is that something you do just to get away from the madness of acting, or is there something deeper about your love for travel?
It's because I changed 11 schools. My dad was a government employee. He just retired 2-3 years back, and my name, they say, no, you are what your name is. So my name, Mrunal, means deer, hiran.
Yeah.
And hiran जो होती है वो एक जगह से दूसरी जगह फुदकती रहती है. She cannot be at one place. So I think that pretty much describes who I am. And I feel like, what's next? I get FOMO. Like if I sleep till 11 o'clock in the morning, I feel like half of my day is wasted.
Actually, half of the day is wasted.
It is wasted,
so-
because some people wake up at noon. I sleep at midnight and I'm up at like 6:30. That's the max I can
That's
sleep.
luxury.
That's luxury. And sometimes I'm like, oh, abhi tak to sirf 5 hi baje, so ja. I force myself to sleep because I feel, and especially when I'm traveling, I feel like one of the reasons why I'm able to translate it through my work. See, Merrill once said, take your broken heart, make it into an art. And it's not just implied when it comes to broken heart. It can be anything. It can be your relationships, it can be travel, it can be food, it can be people, it can be literally anything. You literally have to just grab whatever you have and just imply it in your acting. That's what makes it natural. That's what makes it authentic, and that's what makes it unique from what others do. Right. So traveling, I feel when you meet a lot of people, I'm so sorry, but I have not learned what life is in schools. I've learned what life is after meeting people, after listening to their incidences, stories, and experiences. My best friend is 82 now. Oh my God. So imagine how much I've learned from her, Madhu Raja. And वो क्या होता है ना कि unless and until you don't, वो कहते हैं ना, you have to wear those shoes in order to, but what if you be smart enough to just learn from others' mistakes? That's why I feel travel is so important. Parents are really scared of sending their children abroad, and I think that's the best way, because they not just learn what life is, but they're able to manage time, because everyone was doing everything for them here. There they're taking care of everything, earning money. You value for things. My brother never cared about, anything, any mythology stuff, but there I was like, why did you spend this money and what for? He said, Didi, I got Bhagavad Gita. So I was happy. I was like, see, now he's getting rooted after going there, after meeting people. And it also gives you so much joy to share about your culture, to talk about your roots, to talk about your family, and not just mom, dad, or siblings, to talk about this gigantic family that you have. So I think, and food. The amount of food I eat everywhere I go, it is crazy. Like, people will not believe. That's why I probably work out twice a day in order to look fit.
That's so true, because I was just talking this morning to somebody and about how I'd have probably been a very different person had I not been pushed out of home at 12th standard because I went to stay in a hostel.
See?
And
Hostel life, the
see,
best.
it just, and at that time, there was like you could just take a flight because middle class meant you had to take a train,
I
and that
took a
would take a lot
train.
of time, and
Yeah.
But I really think that like cutting away, and the other thing about travel that I really like is that there's been something very strange where you feel like sharing things with strangers that you probably wouldn't share.
Ever.
What is that? I don't know.
So see, in the West they call it therapy. I call
that's
it.
here as well.
Then I'm
Yeah.
talking about like say 2009-10 ki
Right.
baat, when I used to travel in trains, take a local Mumbai,
yeah.
Thane se Churchgate ja rahe. And we just start chatting with, and you're just so vulnerable in front of a stranger. And the advices those strangers have given you, when you tell them that, you know what, and I would tell them the story as my friend is stuck in this problem. And he's like, why don't you just tell your friend to do that? And I was like, it was that simple. I've been stressing myself like a crazy person and I'm beating myself. I've been so harsh on myself. And the best thing is that he's not your friend or she's not your friend who's going to go and talk or gossip about it.
Yeah.
So, in a way, you're sorted. Like, I got instant therapy from a stranger who just shared a piece of advice which is going to remain with me for the rest of my life.
Right.
And that's the beauty about travel. And you're just so giving. You're such a giver when you are traveling. And if someone needs help or if someone is sharing, like I have so many friends who I've met in an aircraft. And they're my friends now. They like we are in touch. It's just beautiful.
That's amazing, actually. The duration of the travel is fine, but
If you
staying
stay
in
in
touch
touch.
is amazing. That's something else. So by some strange coincidence, you mentioned Meryl Streep.
Yes.
And that's my last question to you because I have 5 quotes from her on acting.
Okay.
And I just want to hear your take on those quotes and how
Sure.
they apply to
I
you.
love it. Yeah.
So,
Please go ahead.
number one, I'm curious about other people. That's the essence of my acting. I'm interested in what it would be like to be you.
Wow. That's what we do.
Right.
That's what I do. Because one of my best friends from college, Karishma Gorati, she was the person I literally played in Gumrah. Because what she is, what she does in her, what's her lifestyle like. Because there's only so much that you can give as Mrunal. I definitely will have to look out for more personalities and characteristics, and in order to get into the skin of of the character that I'm playing, I should be able to resonate with one human or at least some qualities, if
Right.
not ditto same. So for me, when I prep, and Meryl said it so right, like when you prep for a character, it should not just be an amalgamation of what the writer, screenplay writer and the director has written for you, but also from what you observe from the individuals you meet through the course of time.
Right. Acting is not about being someone different.
Yeah.
It's finding the similarity in what is apparently different, then finding myself in there.
Yeah.
Agreed?
Because I agree with her. In Jersey, I was having a argument, creative, healthy argument with Gautam sir. And I'm like, but sir, she will not do this. Why would she do this? She's earning, she's the boss, she wouldn't. Shahid is like, tu idhar aa. She is a woman from 1999, that era. You are a 2020 girl. So you would not do it, but she would. So stop relating it to yourself. Sometimes you have to cross those boundaries and imbibe those qualities in you.
Right.
And could you just repeat that quote again?
Acting is not about being someone different. It's finding the similarity in what is apparently different.
Yes.
And then finding myself in there.
So the similarity I found with this character, Vidya, was my mom was exactly like that.
Right.
काट कसर, कॉस्ट कटिंग, फीस नहीं भरी, ये नहीं भरी, पैसे ये लीकेज हो रहा है, वो लीकेज कैसे होगा, हाउ we were always on a tight budget. And that's when I drew those similarities between my mother and the character Vidya.
Right.
And the last thing is to imbibe.
Right.
So वो दोनों को मिला के उसका मिक्सचर मैंने घुल के मैं पी गई.
I believe in imagination.
Yes.
I did Kramer versus Kramer before I had children, but the mother I would be was already inside me.
Yes. So, a lot of people asked me, why would you play a mother on screen when you're just like 22 years old, 20 years old? I actually became a mother when I was 12.
Right.
That's because my brother was born then. And you don't know, you're just prepared, motherly instinct सिर्फ लड़की को नहीं हो सकते, लड़के को भी हो सकते हैं. They have that bond.
Right.
But when it comes to women, I don't know why it is like so precisely thopoed on them. But like I mentioned, so I had those, like my mother became a mother at the age of 18. So when I was playing Vidya in Jersey, I could only feel what I felt for my brother and take those qualities and add it in this film.
Right.
Even though I was not a mom. But I know that be it Hainana, Yashna, like all these characters that I've played have gotten me so close to motherhood that maybe I would want to have children. And I do feel like I do want to have children today. So that वो कहते हैं ना कि नहीं जब मैं माँ बनूंगी तभी शायद I'll be able to.
Yeah.
Yes, you understand motherhood more precisely and it's defined, but there is always that seed planted within you.
Right.
And not necessarily it can only be for your child. It can even be for your father.
Yeah.
It can even be for your sister, your younger brother. It can be for anybody.
So you don't necessarily have to cross a stage in life in order to understand that stage.
Yes.
Is what you're trying to say.
Yes.
Yeah.
My best friend told me, Madhu Dadi told me, I call her Dadi, but she's got no son child. And in Hindi when you call her Dadi, which means poti,
Yeah.
jo ladke ki beti hogi. She doesn't have a son, but still she's got this poti who calls her Dadi. Sometimes you don't have to be in that relationship, but it naturally,
Yeah.
see, I'm not able to articulate it, but life is beautiful. You just meet people and you form those bonds which would never be possible in your entire lifetime.
Right. Right.
So not necessarily you have to be a mother, but you can still feel like motherly towards anything. It can even be a plant.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's right in your frame.
Yeah.
So,
And I've got a green thumb.
so this is a funny one. Expensive clothes are a waste of money.
True. True, because you're not going to wear them again.
Okay, explain this to me in the context of being an actor in the Instagram era.
These are not my clothes. I've just sourced it.
Right.
The maximum money I spend on a top is like, say, $2,000. That's it. That's also I feel is too much.
Right.
Because jo expensive hai, you cannot wear them over and over again. Yes, having a classic statement collection in your wardrobe is good, but just wearing a brand for the heck of it, I feel like it's a waste of money. I would rather invest that money in food, in some plants or like
A house?
khana, house, or a land where I can do farming. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
कपड़ों का क्या करेंगे?
Right. I don't know. I thought that was a big part of being a star today. Like
Not at all. Trust me. Trust me.
Yeah.
So what we do, I cheat. I'll tell you how. What I do in my wardrobe, if I have 1,000 things, out of that 1,000 things, 5 things will be statement things. I will just wear like a ganji and a jeans, and I'll just throw that one statement, either a shoe or a belt or a bag, and I'll just keep repeating it. So you look expensive and you don't end up spending a lot of stuff also. You have to be very smart as to what you're investing in. You can't be investing in anything that's in trend.
Right.
Because trend will just last for 6 months, 1 year, max 2 years, and it's gone.
But I'm just curious about one thing. This may be a very ignorant question, but this is a sourced dress, is
Yeah.
what you're saying, right? So, which means some designers kind of made it for you. Now, you're saying expensive, just like you say, it cannot be repeated. What happens to this dress after this event that you've...
I give it back to the designer.
And what happens to the dress, I'm saying, is like...
That's up to them, whatever they do.
because they can't give it to somebody else.
No, that's up to them. I mean,
I'm asking, do you know? Like,
it might even be on a mannequin, or some people would want to buy the dress because Indu from Family Star
like that. Okay.
made it like a statement piece or something like that. You know, so many people bought saris which actually look like Sita's saris. You know, it became a trend. So we source it. And sometimes...
Also, I get that. So because like people like to have things stars wear, or like,
they
you
do.
know, that's kind
Even I like to, I
Yeah.
would love to have anything which Meryl would wear or Rihanna would wear, you know, from their closet.
The last one, I have lost the will to please those who do not like me, to love those who do not love me, and to smile at those who do not want to smile at me.
Yeah. So when you're born as an artist, you do not sign a contract that these many people are going to like me, these people are going to hate me. Hate करना है, hate कर लो, प्यार करना है,
But
प्यार
that
कर
doesn't
लो.
come immediately, right?
But जब भी आएगा आता है, आने दो अपना. It's
No,
not
I'm
in our
saying
control.
no. That wisdom doesn't come immediately.
It doesn't
right? Because
come.
at first you want universal love, right?
Oh my God, I have struggled. Like there were times where I was like, why does people not like me? You know, I've been so nice to them, but there's always some or the other statement being, you know, twisted somehow and being presented in front of the audience through whatsoever means or
Right.
media, whatever. Like I'm not complaining here. I am what I am because of them also. But sometimes you always misunderstood as well. So, but ठीक है यार. Today, I think I've become wiser. I feel like जितनी लोग हैं ना, like three should be equal to 3,000.
Right.
I just need those 3,000 people. I just want them to be happy. I want me to be happy. And today, if you see, like I'm very active on social networking sites as well. When I read the comments, there's barely any 1 or 2 comments which are nasty. Otherwise, everybody's good. You know, Rana told me once we were on the flight and I was complaining. I said, इसने ये बोला, उसने वो बोला, ये वो बोल रहा है. He's like, out of 100 people, 97 people were saying the nice things which you didn't hear. Those 3 people were not talking good things. What about them? So stop thinking about those 3 people and start thinking about those 97 people. And I was like, wisdom. You know, कुछ तो हुआ मेरे अंदर.
During travel.
Travel. Like we were on a flight from Hyderabad to Bombay.
Yeah. I think that is a little difficult to get to that Zen state because I think negativity stays with you more than positivity. Sometimes, you know, especially when you're an artist, I think because everyone's sensitive. And it's not that you don't value the 97, it's see, even if it's constructive criticism, that's a different thing. But if people are just nasty, sometimes, because...
But more than negative criticism, it's comparison.
Right.
क्रिटिसिज्म से प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, कंपैरिजन से प्रॉब्लम है. क्योंकि क्या है कि कोई नई लड़की आ गई, देन पीपल कंपेयर यू. कोई फिल्म कर रहा है बॉक्सिंग के ऊपर तो अरे वो भी बॉक्सिंग की फिल्म है पर ये उसके मुताबिक ये वैसी नहीं है. यू नो what we do not realize, it's not the criticism, it's the comparison which pisses us off and makes us insecure. So I understood this at a really young age and I'm like, compare karna hai, kar lo. We'll add more flavors, we'll add haldi, masala, tadka, this curry, that curry, ye, wo, sab kuch. And then you'll be like, we love you. And I'm like, okay.
That's good. I hope people love you in Family Star.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. It was so wonderful to talk to you.
Same here. We've been meaning to... We were meant to catch up earlier, then schedules didn't match.
And I watch your interviews and there's so much depth about an actor which I would rather not know through the characters they play, but it's so interesting, and this is what is more important, because the budding actors, they look forward to interviews like this as to what happened when you were shooting that scene, what was the process. And like, if I wouldn't have had shared my screen space with such talented actors, I wouldn't even know. So half the things people learn after watching things, and I think this interviews like interviews like this allows people to grow. So thank you for bringing out the best interviews, and just making sure, and you are very well researched, I must say. It's very hard for me. It's very rare that I come across people who know about me. And it surprises me that how much study you had done before this interview.
It's not that much.
But people don't do it these days, you know.
Google is a great thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but thank you, and all the best for Family Star.
Thank you. I hope you like it.
Yeah.
GT Holidays, South India's #1 travel brand.
GUVI, a vernacular edutech brand, skilling everyone everywhere.